Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zach and Sean and Ryan are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 7, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions, now with a newly designed website, MrBoyProductions.com. My name is Zaki Hassan. I'm joined once again by my partners in crime, Brian Hall.
Hello.
And Sean Coyle.
Dzień dobry.
What was that this time?
Polish.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, but what are you actually saying?
I'm saying hello.
Oh, okay.
Dzień dobry.
You have to say it with that accent?
I do.
Oh, okay.
So our one listener in Poland right now is like, hey!
They're speaking to me! Our Polish listener has an Italian accent. A stereotypical Italian accent, I should say.
Wait, that just made me... Do you remember that Simpsons episode where it's the shootout in the Italian restaurant?
Yeah.
And then you know, the one guy gets up and he's like, and I'm from the Italian Defamation Society or whatever, and this really burns my cannoli.
Yeah.
Is that, and I'm assuming Fat Tony is in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I should remember that one, but is that...
I think Maggie got lost or something, and she like wandered into this like really dangerous situation because she wasn't being... Right? Like she wasn't being looked after, and so she wandered into this restaurant where this mob war is breaking out.
Yeah,
oh, that's
yeah.
right. And they start crying.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I remember there's a joke, like, this makes Godfather 2 look like Godfather 3 or something like that. And I was like, hey, I like Godfather 3. So I'm the only one who likes Godfather 3.
And our listener, Francis Ford Coppola, right now is just like, hey!
me and Francis Coppola, we're the ones who like Godfather 3.
We're pleasing everybody tonight, one by one.
That's the plan. So what's going on with you guys? I haven't talked to you in a little while.
A little this, a little that.
Sean?
nothing that would interest anybody, any of our listeners.
Thanks, you guys.
What? You asking me?
I am.
Oh, well, like you mentioned, I've been tinkering and retooling the Mr. Boy Productions website the past few nights. Because we've been getting so many hits on the Movie Film Podcast, it was time that it had a proper home.
Nice.
On the interweb out there, so it's still a bit of a work in progress, so bear with me, anybody who goes to visit the site. Some of the movies aren't loading quite right, so I'm still trying to figure that stuff out.
The Mr. Boy Productions movies, the stuff that we've done in the past.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which you should all check out.
Yeah, but I haven't watched some of that stuff in ages, so I'm kind of curious to check that out myself.
Now's the time. Now's the time.
I guess so.
That
It's hard
sounds like
to believe.
Windows 8. Like, now's the time. Seems like that should be their slogan or something.
It's
Or
time
Pepsi,
for Alf
whatever.
to come back and for Windows.
Hey, I'm on Windows.
We're just going to weave in an Alf reference to every episode if we can.
Hey, Willie. All right.
So I was actually going back, and I was thinking about some of the movies that we talked about in our time travel discussion last episode, and I realized that one that I completely missed, and I was kicking myself over neglecting, is Disney's The Kid, starring Bruce Willis. Have you guys seen that one?
Yes,
Don't think so.
I have.
That's where Bruce Willis meets himself as a kid.
Bah.
So it's well, it's basically it's as if it's like the Disney version of Looper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know how you described Looper as being like this movie that was made without notes? Well, if Looper got notes, it would have become Disney's
It'd
The
be
Kid.
the kid. Hey, that's pretty good, yeah.
They're like, can
If
we
Looper
take out
got notes?
Can we take out the violence and have each of them learn something important? You know,
Yeah.
and that's what we'd end up with. See, which is weird because really that's what happened. They took the notes and they went back in time and made Looper before Looper got made.
Whoa.
And I've gone cross-eyed.
I was also thinking about actually because right after our episode went live, they were showing Back to the Future movies on TV. So of course, I have an unwritten rule that if Back to the Future is on TV, I must watch it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Same way.
And I believe I owe a penalty if I don't.
Yeah. It's a whole
My
code
taxes
to
go
it.
up or something.
Yeah.
So it was on, and I was watching the second half of it. So from the time that Marty is in the car with Lorraine to when Biff comes in and all that, and then we come back. And I'm surprised it never occurred to me before, where I'm like, why are the McFlys like why is the McFly family so old George and old Lorraine so nice to the guy that tried to rape her? Because at the end they're like, oh, that Biff, he'll never change. Right. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have met. It's like, oh yeah, what happened? Oh yeah, he tried to assault you in the car.
But
He's
so
like,
lovable.
oh, Mr. McFly, look, he's like in and out of the house, that rapist. Hey Marty, how you doing?
Wow, you could really put a taint on anything, Zachy.
It's true. I am the taint.
Just call me the Taint.
That's what. That's my tough guy nickname. That's my
That
mafia
sounds
nickname.
I was just gonna say like a film noir name. It's like, you got to go talk to the Taint.
Talk to the taint. He's not this. He's not that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So we have much to discuss this week, but right up top we have our new feature where people write to us with their comments and queries and asking for our take on all things pop culture related.
Cool.
It's where listeners write us letters, so I thought, appropriately enough, we should call it Listener Letters.
Hey, all right.
So our first listener letter comes to us from somebody whose name I don't have in front of me.
Oh, this isn't starting off well.
Okay, here we go. Our first listener letter is from Kubra, and she asks, why do you think parents push their kids to go through all the humiliation of stupid and disgusting shows like Toddlers and Tiaras? How is that show even legal? It's absolutely degrading and an abomination. It ruins a child's mentality to think that you must look and act a certain way to be liked by society. I think that's a statement, not so much a question.
I know.
I was just about to be like, period. Yeah.
So I don't watch Toddlers and Tiaras, but I have just recently become aware of Here Comes Honey Boo Boo.
Oh my God.
And I saw it and I was like, all right, well, human evolution has now come to an end.
If you haven't seen it already, you should look up the South Park episode from last week or a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, Fatty Doo Doo.
Yeah, that. I love South Park.
Yeah,
they really hit the nail on the head about every reason why that show is wrong and why we are awful people for catering to that stuff.
Well, what strikes me is that it airs on TLC, which, lest we forget, used to stand at one time for the Learning Channel.
Right.
And I'm like, are we even trying anymore? Are we even trying to have our cable channels actually represent what their names say? Because as of now, we have Sci-Fi Channel that shows wrestling. We have Cartoon Network that shows sitcoms.
Right.
And we have the Learning Channel, which shows that. Between Honey Boo Boo and Sarah Palin, I'm like, there's no learning happening here.
I don't know if you guys keep up with The Soup, but whenever they have a Honey Boo Boo clip, Joel McHale refers to the mom as the human thumb.
That's yeah.
Which is pretty great.
That's awesome. Well, here's another one. I thought this is from Matt, and he asks, why the hell is James Bond Jr. named James Bond Jr. if James Bond is his uncle?
Whoa.
This is cosmic, right? You guys remember James Bond Jr.?
James Bond Jr.
There you go. That's that show, by the way. It was an animated show, by the way, for those of you listening who aren't familiar with it, who aren't old people like us. It was an animated show made by Murakami Wolf Swenson, who are the same people who did the Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Huh.
And Brian, you never saw James Bond Jr.?
No. I don't, even remember it at all.
You have it's not even on your radar.
No.
So basically, James Bond Jr. is James Bond's uncle. No, James Bond, excuse me. That would be weird. He's his nephew. Thank you. James Bond Sr. is James Bond Jr.'s uncle. So the question is, how is that possible? And I looked that up, and as it turns out, a nephew can technically be a junior if it's in the same family.
All right.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I have an Uncle Ken, I could be Ken Jr.? Wait, no. If they named me Ken after the uncle, then I would be Ken Jr.
Correct.
Interesting.
I know. All the possibilities just open themselves up, right?
So let it be written. So let it be done. I guess if that's a thing, then it's a thing.
It's. I guess it's a thing. Yeah. The James Bond Jr. cartoon show. It was actually an officially licensed show. It was licensed by the people at Eon, who make the movies.
Huh.
And the idea was James Bond Jr. is this teenager, and he's at some prep school. It was a horrible, horrible cartoon, just to be very clear. It was atrocious, and I'd go so far as to say it was an abomination.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's at prep school. His buddy is Felix Leiter's son, and like the smart kid is IQ, who's Q's son, or grandson. Yeah, it was really ridiculous. And the villains are like Goldfinger and Oddjob and
Wow.
Knick Knack or whatever. And yeah, it was a terrible show. And I think the idea was to introduce kids to the James Bond franchise, and then and then they can segue into the movies.
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea.
I suppose it didn't really work
was
out.
It really?
I don't know. I mean, it's clever. Let's put it that way. If they're
Brian's just trying to be
figuring out
nice.
how they're luring children into spending money on their product. I guess it's evil.
They were like they were the Joe Camel of
of the cartoon
of the weekday afternoon set.
The Joe Camel. Hilarious.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good show. I'd be curious if they end up ever re-releasing that on DVD now that they've got all the movies out and everything. Because James Bond Jr. is more official than Never Say Never Again, which is that's the James Bond movie where Sean Connery came back.
All right.
10 years later, because that's the unofficial Bond.
How do you
it's
mean
awful.
unofficial?
Say that again?
How do you mean unofficial?
Okay, so essentially what happened, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'll try to boil it down. Ian Fleming created James Bond in 1952. The first James Bond novel was Casino Royale. So and then the first Bond, the first movie in the current series was Dr. No, which was in '62. Now, in between then, there were several tries where Fleming tried to get James Bond going as a movie series or whatever. So he worked with a guy named Kevin McClory, and they came up with a couple different treatments. And one of them was almost made into either a TV pilot or a movie, and that didn't end up happening. So Fleming took that premise, which was an original premise, and he turned that into the novel Thunderball. And then when Thunderball came out, that guy, Kevin McClory, sued Ian Fleming because he said, well, I came up with that story too. So basically the resolution was that Fleming, every edition of Thunderball had to co-credit Kevin McClory, and Kevin McClory got the screen rights to Thunderball as part of the deal. So when the movie Thunderball was made, it was actually a co-production with the Broccoli's and Kevin McClory. And part of the deal was he couldn't do anything else with that story for another 10 years. So Thunderball came out in 1964, I believe. It was 1965. And so it took a little over that. I think Never Say Never Again came out in 1983. And so, essentially, after that time had passed, he was able to mount this rival production. And the only way to really give it credibility was to get Sean Connery to come back. Mm-hmm. And by then, Sean Connery, he left in 1971. He was pissed off at the Broccoli's. He felt like they hadn't paid him enough. Roger Moore came on. He was very successful. So in 1983, we had Octopussy and Never Say Never Again basically come out head-to-head as rival Bond movies. And actually, what you would be interested in is that Irvin Kershner directed Never Say Never Again. But it's still not a very good movie.
Ah.
Yeah, so it's
People are going to write songs about your brain one day, Zachy.
The stuff I retain that's absolutely of no consequence.
It's amazing.
Well, I always think about, like, when the zombie apocalypse happens, I'll know lots of trivia about zombie movies, but that won't help me from getting eaten. So it's a little
there's
depressing.
some way you can monetize all that information. I don't know.
That's right.
Package it and then make a creative way to lure children in by a cartoon series first, and then they'll have to buy your book later. Yeah.
The wheels are turning. Must lure in children.
I'd just like to go on record saying that I don't want any part about a plan that lures in children to anywhere.
Yeah, me neither.
You
What's
guys
wrong
are
with
on
you
your
guys?
own.
Okay, we got one last question here from the listener emails, and this is from Ian. This is from Ian Sokolowski, actually, who's a comic book artist who's very talented. He's a colorist. He does great work. So, folks, check him out. He asks us, and I think this is actually, I got to be honest, guys. This is the kind of question that people are afraid to ask, frankly. So I'm glad that somebody's finally bringing it up. Who would win in a knife fight, Lucas or Spielberg?
Wow.
I'm going to say George Lucas, hands down.
Oh, that's interesting. Why? Because he shoots first. He stabs first.
I don't know. I equate it to like if Superman was to fight Batman, like Spielberg being Superman and George Lucas being Batman. I don't know. Superman would never pull the trigger, and he would never end Batman. But
But Batman would jab Superman with kryptonite.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because Superman's kind of boring. I don't know. Right?
Okay. Well, you lost me when you said Superman is boring.
Well, I ask you this, Zachy. Okay. I would argue that Superman is a much more interesting character as part of the Justice League than on his own.
I would say that Superman.
Maybe not interesting, but definitely a more fun character when he's part of the team.
I mean, it just depends. Honestly, it depends on how he's treated, how he's depicted. I think a lot of people sort of write off Superman as, oh, he's the big blue Boy Scout and who gives a crap, and I don't think that that's the character. I think the character works because of his goodness, and it's not just a matter of being good. It's a matter of how do you remain good in a world that is not good, and how do you represent certain values. I mean, I think that he's not naive and he's not boring, but I think that a lot of writers just have a really difficult time figuring out how best to portray him.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite interpretation of him was in the Justice League cartoon series.
Uh-huh.
Because otherwise, he doesn't have the as colorful a rogues gallery as like a Batman does,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was that moment in the finale of the Justice League when he's fighting what's his face?
Darkseid.
Darkseid, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And and he has this moment where he's like, you don't know what it's been like for me having to hold back my whole life living amongst these people here on Earth, and
Right.
it's like the one moment where Superman finally lets loose and lets it fly and just kicks the crap out of this alien god guy.
Well,
And it's stuff that they've never really explored in the movie. It's like every time we get a Superman movie, it seems like it's the same thing. It's like, oh, Superman's fighting this, fighting Lex Luthor, or oh, Superman's fighting General Zod. Like I was really bummed out when I heard General Zod was the big bad in the new Superman movie that's coming out.
yeah, I'm a little. I'm curious why they went that direction. I mean, you guys probably didn't watch Smallville, or if you did, you didn't watch it regularly. But I mean that show, in 10 seasons, basically covered every major Superman rogue. Whereas the movies are still stuck on Lex Luthor and General Zod,
Yeah.
and Nuclear Man, and Richard Pryor. I mean, on Smallville they got Doomsday, they got Bizarro, they got Darkseid in there, they got Zod in there too, they got Brainiac, they got Toyman, you name it. I mean, they went right down the litany, which is why, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think if you're talking about a rogues gallery, Batman is right up there. Probably Batman and Spider-Man, I think, have the best rogues galleries overall. But Superman has more than just guys in suits. It's just, unfortunately, for whatever reason, they haven't really been able to apply that and do something different with it.
And I like Superman, don't get me wrong. I'm not calling him a worthless character or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I think everything we've been given about him in terms of what we've seen on screen has just been kind of boring.
Well, but even okay. So here's what I think about the first film. I think that in terms, you were talking about the portrayal of Superman. I think the portrayal of Superman, to me, the pinnacle of how that should be is Christopher Reeve. I mean, in any of those movies, really, even the crappy fourth one. even the crappy third one, because he's fine in that.
Right.
I have some quibbles with how he plays Clark Kent, but I think he really set the tone that everyone has tried to measure up to in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But yeah, I would definitely, and to your point, I think Bryan Singer went in completely the wrong direction, where he tried to make Superman so conflicted and so sort of tormented.
For sure, yeah.
And there's a website called superdickery.com,
Yeah.
which the whole premise of that is that Superman is a dick.
Yep.
And the website, for those of you who don't know, it takes old comic book covers, old Superman covers out of context, and uses them to show what a dick Superman is. and the funny thing is that if you watch Superman Returns, that's full of super dickery.
Yeah, with the plane.
Well, yeah, the plane is the biggest thing. Where the first big reveal of Superman in that movie, in Superman Returns, is this jetliner is out of control. Superman flies up, he catches it, rescues it triumphantly, sets it down in this baseball diamond. Everyone applauds and cheers. Oh, Superman is back after 5 years, and he's like, hey, flies off, leaving this jetliner in the middle of a baseball diamond. Who's gonna pick that up? You dick, and then later in the movie he's talking to Lois Lane, and Lois Lane won a Pulitzer for writing an article about why the world doesn't need Superman, and he's telling her, he's like, you say the world doesn't need me anymore, or you say the world doesn't need a savior, and every minute or every second I hear people crying out for one, and it's like, really, is that why you left for 5 years without telling anybody? It actually gets even worse now that I think about it, because in Super, Bryan Singer's whole thing with those movies is that he ignores 3 and 4. So, in other words, Superman Returns is meant to be the direct sequel to Superman 2. Okay, so he because he has a kid in Superman Returns,
right?
And him and Lois did the old rumpy pumpy in number 2. That's a technical term, by the way, rumpy pumpy. and okay, so he loses his powers in Superman 2. Him and Lois hook up, and then General Zod shows up and wreaks all kinds of holy havoc. The president is like, Superman, where are you? Clark Kent goes back to the fortress. He gets his powers back. He goes and defeats Zod and the Kryptonians. Right? You with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, in the middle there, Superman, greatest hero on Earth, stops at a diner where this guy beat him up when he was just regular Clark Kent and he had no powers. So he goes back to that diner as Clark Kent, but now with his superpowers, and he basically beats the guy into a coma. So that's already okay, that's a little weird. But then here's the best part. Right after that, we see this triumphant shot of him. He's holding the American flag. He flies to the White House, and he replaces the flag on the top of the White House. And the president opens the thing, and Superman is, I'm sorry I was gone for so long, Mr. President. I won't let you down again, except for 2 weeks from now when I leave for 5 years, and don't tell anybody. That's literally the last line of Superman 2. He's like, I'm sorry I was gone so long. I won't let you down again. And then we jump to the official sequel, Superman Returns, where the opening narration is like, and then Superman left for 5 years. And he disappeared and he didn't tell anybody. So those movies are unfortunate. I guess that's my point. This started, by the way, as a question about whether Lucas or Spielberg would win in a knife fight.
That's right. That's right.
So the answer is peanut butter.
Hey, and can I take this moment here to do a little shout out for the E.T. Blu-ray that I picked up this past week?
Oh, yeah. So tell me about that, yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, it looks amazing. Jaws, Raiders, all his movies, his earlier classics are getting cleaned up. And
it's been a good year for Spielberg fans.
Oh, man, it looks so good. But the thing is I was checking out the behind the scenes, and we had talked about this on an earlier show about the Raiders behind the scenes. I can't remember what it's called on there, but it's this just a collection of home movie type footage that they had gotten on set, and they put it together in about an hour segment. And there's no narration, there's no context, there's no interviews with the actors. It's almost like the guy took all his home movies and just laid them out in order, and you just get to watch, what's going on set. And I really enjoyed it on Raiders, but I have to say I especially enjoyed it here on ET. I found it fascinating, and it made me think. Spielberg is notorious for not doing commentaries.
Right.
And everybody's always begging him, like, oh, how can you not do commentaries? He's got to do commentaries for these films. But I actually think, watching this documentary, I was like, this may be even more valuable because, we can hear Spielberg recount these stories, and he is pretty good about that in interviews. He tells where he's coming from and what inspired these stories, and he talks about E.T. being a story about, the divorce of his parents, really. And but on these behind the scenes, you get to see Spielberg like literally directing for 3 minutes straight, just the way that he talks to the children, what he's telling, where he wants the lights to be. And for me, I found it even more valuable than what I think a commentary could be. And there's one instance that was really interesting for people who are very familiar with the film. There's the part where E.T. is dying, and those doctors are putting, I can't remember what that's called, where you put the two pedals on the chest and
Defibrillator.
Defibrillator. They're doing the defibrillator to E.T., and it's showing the moment. Because in the film, Drew Barrymore is watching, and she's crying. And, she's like a 6-year-old girl. She's crying. And whenever the defibrillator goes off, she kind of jumps. It's sort of horrifying to see. And it's interesting because they show the behind-the-scenes moment of that. And you can see Spielberg behind the camera talking to her. And she's crying. This little girl crying, and he's filming her, and he's just like, your friend is over there, and he's not doing well, and you don't like seeing him like this. And zap! Wow. And then you see her jump, and you're like, wow, so that's interesting. That's how he got that out of her. And then, he yells, cut. But then she keeps crying, and she keeps crying. And then he goes over there, and he starts hugging her. And he actually looks at, the camera that's filming him, and he kind of makes his face like, whoops. Because she's like really upset. And then it's interesting because then, the camera moves over a little bit, and you see Henry Thomas crying.
Wow.
And he's sort of hiding himself from the camera, but he's in this corner, and you see the screenwriter with her arms around him, and she's looking at the camera like, whoa, like we really upset these children.
Wow.
And it's fascinating. I mean, just the environment that they made for these kids, where they really bought into this creature, and I don't know. I found it that's worth buying the Blu-ray alone. That behind the scenes feature.
That's really interesting.
It was fantastic.
I'm reminded of like back in the early '90s when Drew Barrymore kind of had that wild child phase. You remember that?
Yeah.
It'd be funny if like they asked her about like what because now she's like sobered up. If they ever asked her like why were you like that, she'd be like, well, Steven Spielberg robbed me of my innocence as a child. He made me think E.T. was dead, and so I posed in Playboy shortly thereafter. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I told you this. Like, I haven't seen E.T. in many a year, and I don't have the sort of the nostalgic attachment that you do. So I'm very curious to revisit it with just completely fresh eyes, really.
Yeah, I would really be curious what you think.
Speaking of new Blu-rays, and I know, Sean, your birthday's coming up in a few weeks. I saw your potential new birthday present. They just released Prometheus on Blu-ray. Burn! Awkward silence.
Get the censor button ready, Zachy. Fuck you.
Well, you just added more work to the edit, so thank you.
Now,
I was
poor
actually
listener Ridley Scott somewhere is like, hey, oh,
hey, they're talking about my yeah. The I was actually tempted. I was sorely tempted to pick it up, but then I was like, well, I just don't see myself watching that movie
ever.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one of those things that I would just buy. Like I bought the extended cut of Avatar a year and a half ago or whenever. And it's funny because I bought that almost like out of a sense of duty. I was like, well, I suppose I should have Avatar in my collection,
I totally know that feeling, and you got to hand it to whoever puts those packages together, because sometimes you're like, now that is a handsome package.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're
People
like,
say that
I
about
have
me
to
all the
own
time.
that DVD.
I am so going to take that out of context someday.
Yeah, well, I was about to say.
I just realized we have like several things that we've said so far that would make great T-shirts. Like, what was it, Humpity Hump or Rumpity Doo or something? I was like, that'd be a good out of context.
Rumpy
T-shirt.
Pumpy.
Yeah. Fig Foogity Fuggity Foo or whatever Sean just said.
Yeah. With a lot of these sets, I agree with you though, Brian. Where it's kind of like, oh, it looks so nice,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was kind of Prometheus, and Prometheus is going to look amazing on Blu-ray.
Just doesn't matter.
But Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. I liked it more initially, but the more time I've had to think about it, the more I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's worth it, you know?
On that note, similar train of thought, you know who I'm kind of tired of?
Ooh.
I think
It's
I'm
not me.
No. I think I'm tired of Jane Lynch.
You're tired of... okay. That's a very random...
Well, kind of what you're saying, Zachy, like how in the Christopher Guest movies, she's really great and she has her moments, but now she's just everywhere all the time, and she's always Jane Lynch as Jane Lynch.
Totally. I get you. I do like her, and I like her shtick. I like her in the Christopher Guest films, but I totally know what you're saying. Like, they're putting her everywhere, and she doesn't need to be everywhere.
Well, have you seen the Wreck-It Ralph posters or the previews or anything?
Yeah.
I've
She's
seen
in that, and her character looks just like her.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Like, they animated Jane Lynch as Jane Lynch.
But
It
Sean,
should
you
go
know
away.
what, though? I mean, Glee is going to end, and then she will, disappear off the face of the earth.
Yeah. No, she'll still have her Christopher Guest movies.
Yeah, but, I mean, she's not going to... She's at, burnout capacity right now, but it's going to go back to, status quo, what it was before that.
I hope so. I wish she'd go away for a while.
I wish Glee would go away. I'm just... That show just bugs me.
I'm with you. I think it's stupid.
Well, I mean, it's the guy. What's his name? Ryan Murphy.
Yes.
He got pissed because Dave Grohl didn't want Glee doing versions of
Foo Fighters, yeah.
Foo Fighters songs, and I love Dave Grohl put out an open letter, or he made a comment or something where he's just like, dude, I don't want my songs on your show. It doesn't mean. I mean, the entitlement really struck me, where it's like, yeah, dude, not everybody likes your friggin' show, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Or wants to hear karaoke versions of their songs.
Yeah, exactly. The entitlement really strikes me.
I've heard the guy's a real piece of work.
Ryan Murphy?
Yeah.
That's a shame. But moving on to some Hollywood headlines before we potentially get sued. Actually, well, we were just talking about Superman, and this is some news that just broke yesterday. Actually, about there's been a development in the Superman lawsuit. Are you guys familiar with the Superman lawsuit?
No.
So basically,
Sounds like a good band name.
The Superman lawsuit.
Superman lawsuit. 1, 2, 3, 4.
But if Ryan Murphy comes and asks to use your songs, you say no.
Sorry.
Yeah, essentially, there's since the late '90s, there's been a back and forth between the heirs of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who are the guys who created Superman, and the Warner Brothers company, over who owns Superman. And this all, I mean, this is getting way into the weeds, so I won't get into that too much. But essentially, it goes to some quirks of copyright law and how long something can be in the public domain and copyright transfer and all this stuff. But essentially what it comes down to is the fact that the Siegel heirs, so Jerry Siegel is the writer, his heirs filed for termination of his copyright transfer. So in other words, they own half of Superman, and the only reason DC/Warner Brothers still holds on to half of Superman is because of Joe Shuster's half of the rights, and so some heirs of Joe Shuster, not his wife or son, because he doesn't have any children as far as I know, and his wife has passed away. So some nephews or nieces, whatever, they came and they're like, oh, we're his heirs and we want his half. And the DC people are like, no, it doesn't work that way, and blah blah blah. So a court ruled yesterday that whatever rights they had, they gave up their stake in the Schuster rights, and so they belong to Warner Brothers. And so big picture for those of us who follow the character, what this means is that Warner Brothers can continue to make Superman movies and do a Justice League movie and whatever. But the reason I bring this up, this got me thinking about how, the notion of rights and how who should continue to hold a stake in a property after the original creator has passed on. Because it's one of those things where it's like you want your children to be able to have a stake, but to me it's like, would I want my nieces and nephews?
Right.
I've thought about that. It's like, I don't know about that. And
that's a good point.
It's this whole messy thing because Warner Brothers, DC Comics basically, when they bought Superman, they bought him as a character from these basically kids. They were in their early 20s, I think, for like $300. You know, but they took the risk and they turned it into what it is, right?
Right.
So it gets to this question of like, well, who then benefits from this property after X company took all the risks on it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, did they get screwed by DC? Because it's easy to say now in hindsight, oh well, DC bought Superman for $300 or whatever it was. It wasn't very much, but they bought it not knowing what it would turn into.
Right.
So does that mean that they screwed them over?
I mean, I don't really see a problem with them reaping the benefits of the Superman brand or the franchise. You know, it's like a family fortune that gets passed along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely wouldn't see any reason for them to have any sort of creative control over what happens with the character.
Yeah.
You know, it's like as long as Superman's making money, sure, they get their share.
Yeah.
Because they're the heirs to the, you know.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like you know, we were just talking about James Bond earlier. I mean, the Fleming estate gets a flat sum from MGM every year, or to retain those rights, the James Bond rights in perpetuity.
Right.
And it's a sum of, you know, I don't know if it's $1 million or whatever it is, but it's when you think about it, it's money that's being given for you not actually doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like the heirs are doing anything. They're essentially reaping this windfall from stuff that their father/grandfather did.
Right.
You know, people point fingers at quote unquote the corporations and all this stuff, but you realize, well, it's a lot messier than that. And what it essentially comes down to is that these companies are terrified of what's going to happen when these characters go into public domain.
Yeah, doesn't it happen? What is that? Is it 99 years?
It's something like that. Yeah. Like, well, I know, like, look, Mickey Mouse is due to hit public domain within the next few decades, probably.
Right.
And you can bet that the Disney company is doing everything possible to stop that from happening.
Right.
You know, and that gets to, well, should they have the right to stop that? Don't these characters deserve to be in the public domain? Or maybe why should they be in the public domain? You know, it's
kind of weird. That's my immediate reaction. Is like, well, why should they? Like, if it's this active corporation that's still using the character,
but it's not as simple as now all of Mickey, because there's a difference between copyright and trademark. Right. So for like just going back to Superman as an example, like what would the heirs retain? Well, they would retain the version of Superman that they sold, who's very different from the Superman that we know. So in other words, the Superman symbol, well, that's a trademark that's owned by Warner Brothers, and certain other aspects are held by Warner Brothers. So what it's essentially like, what's going on right now between the heirs and the corporation is it's like a game of jacks, where they're just trying to grab as many pieces as they can. Because the more pieces, what you're not going to see a situation of is like, oh, now the Siegel heirs are just going to go off and do their own version of Superman.
Right.
So realistically, both sides have to come to some kind of accord, because they can't do very much with their rights. They can't necessarily do everything with their rights. So it's like they just have to reach a dollars and cents solution. You know.
Remember when the show was about movies?
Yeah, but we once we started talking about Honey Boo Boo, that kind of went down the river. So Ghostbusters 3 is apparently still happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure is.
Been hearing that story for a while.
Yeah, they've been talking about that since around the same time the Superman lawsuit started. But apparently it's gotten a green light today, and it's meant to be a reinvention a la 21 Jump Street, maybe. And I guess my question is, and it's meant to start filming this coming summer. Is there an audience for this? Is there a need for it? Should they do Ghostbusters 3 if, and we can assume that this will probably be the case, Bill Murray does not show up?
No, and no.
I was going to say yes, possibly, and no.
So yes, there is an audience. Possibly they should
Is
do
there
it.
a need? Possibly. It could be whatever, but probably not.
Yeah.
And the third one, I don't remember what it is, but I remember it was a no.
Well, I mean,
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray is this series.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no Ghostbusters without Bill Murray.
But I can see it's a cool concept. Like I can see like why there's more stories to tell with this concept. You know what I mean? So I get why there's like possibly an audience for this. I mean, the main audience for this obviously is people that are fans of the originals that just want to go back to that world.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, reinventing it, it's like, well, like you said, like Bill Murray and those people and their rapport and everything. I mean, that's what those movies are. So
Yeah, for the fans,
maybe they
we
cancel
don't want
each
to go
other
back
out.
there
I
without
don't
Bill
know.
Murray.
I mean, do we really want to see like Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill and Tracy Morgan as as Ghostbusters or something?
No.
And I feel like that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
When all this talk first started, this just shows how far how far along this has come. Dan Aykroyd was talking about, we'd want to pass it along to a new generation of Ghostbusters, and he was like, they were picturing Chris Farley and Will Smith and Conan O'Brien, and it's like Will Smith, like this is pre Men in Black,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, Will Smith would be the whole budget right there.
Right.
So they're saying Ghostbusters 3 has a green light. We'll see if that's actually true. I wonder if that's kind of bluffing to see if to see if Bill Murray really wants the parade to go by without him.
He seems like the type of guy that would.
Yeah, I don't
He'd let that
think
happen.
you
He
can
just doesn't
bluff
care.
Bill Murray.
No.
I think
don't
he's
so either.
perfectly content to have them do go. That's the ironic thing. I mean, he's the one component you need to get that movie made, and he's the most obstinate. I really am genuinely curious what the relationship is like between him and Aykroyd,
Yeah.
because Aykroyd desperately wants that movie to happen. I have a feeling.
Probably the same as Spielberg and Lucas.
That's right. There's a knife fight going on.
You know, I read earlier this week that I thought was kind of interesting was about the movie Ted.
Oh yeah,
Ted.
yeah.
Ted became the highest grossing comedy of all time this week
What?
with $469 million. And I was thinking, okay, like I saw Ted. Ted made me laugh. It was fine. It was all right. But I just thought that was really interesting because I think The Hangover was the previous record holder. And The Hangover, like it or not, I mean, it was a phenomenon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you felt that, and you saw the effects of that film. People to this day still wear T-shirts. I see all the time people wearing those T-shirts with the baby thing, the fake baby on the front, whatever you call that thing, papoose thing, and like Galifianakis's catchphrases on T-shirts and everything. And it's just interesting because I haven't felt 1% of that for Ted. Like I don't hear anybody talking about it or quoting it, or
Right.
it's just interesting that, and I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think Seth MacFarlane bought all his own tickets.
I mean, I haven't seen Ted. I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
So I can't really speak to that. I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, so Peter Griffin is a bear.
Yeah, and this isn't even me hating on it because like I said, it was totally fine enough. But it's just an extended episode of Family Guy. Like it's a Peter Griffin character and then a Brian character, and it's funny too because there's a lot of jokes in the film that Family Guy have already done. So I think that's why I was less taken with it than some people were because I was like, well, I know exactly what this, like I've seen this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's fine. It amuses me. Like, Monday nights on TBS, I'll catch an episode or two because, they make me laugh. But, like, I didn't think it was groundbreaking or anything. It seemed like some people did.
Yeah. Well, speaking of being Taken, we were talking about Taken 2 last time.
Wait, can we pause real quick? I'm sorry, I gotta go for 1 second. We'll pick it. Just 1 second. We'll pick it up with Taken 2.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as we're not going to broadcast any of this.
Yes.
I have got to scratch my balls, doo-dah, scratch all day long, all the doo-dah day.
Okay, you realize that I will absolutely use that for something.
That just occurred to me. I'm like, well, we are still recording. I would love for, like, at my funeral, like, I'm going to have, like, all these, like, awful things, and you'll, like, collect all these things. You'll be like, this will be the perfect opportunity.
I know.
And then it will not go over. I think about that a lot. Maybe that's sort of a morbid thing. But I always
think
think
about
about
your
my
funeral?
and, like, I think about funny things that I could like prepare beforehand, and have people carry them out for me, like things that I would find amusing, and then I always end up thinking, yeah, that'd be really funny for me, but that just would be painfully uncomfortable for everyone else. And
Yeah,
that's not a good idea.
at your funeral specifically.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, I've been meaning to ask you, did you ever watch Star Wars in machete order?
No, that's funny you say that. Someone literally brought that up at work the other day.
Wow.
With me, and literally yesterday we were talking about this, and I have not done that. No.
I'd be very curious to hear your take on that, because I'm a total convert.
Yeah, it works for you.
It's amazing. I mean, you chop out Phantom Menace, so that's not even part of the mix. It makes Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith more palatable, and it actually improves Return of the Jedi.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've ever watched all 6 in a row. I actually do. It was sort of a thing for me. Like once a year, I watch all 3 Star Wars and all 3 Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay.
So I need to. Yeah, I'll try to do that because I haven't done Star Wars this year yet. So maybe I'll do that.
It's also funny how really this is just our generation's hang-ups.
Right.
Because my nephew, so like my brother's kid, he's like 12 years old now, and my brother wanted to watch Star Wars in machete order with him, and he's like, no, I want to watch it in regular order, and because all his machete order, it's kind of like trying to justify our neuroses, our daddy issues.
right.
Because that's really what it is. We just have daddy issues when it comes to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, actually.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Kind of like what we were talking about in the episode a week ago or 2
Yeah.
weeks ago. It's totally true.
It's just daddy issues.
Yeah.
Because Mick was like, "Oh, my favorite is the one with the skull."
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, you. I hate him.
I wonder why. I wonder what it is. I just wonder because even when I was younger, I think a lot of times, even just like colors, like the colors of movies. Like I just feel this weird thing with Jedi where I just really love Jedi, even though I know it's not the best one.
Yeah.
But there's something about like the colors and the age it was introduced to me and everything that just still resonates. I don't know what it is.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what strikes me, and this is something I've noticed, is that Return of the Jedi feels very much like an 80s movie, and Empire Strikes Back feels Star Wars feels very much like a 70s movie, but Empire really hasn't aged.
Hello?
That's totally true.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, that one feels the most timeless, and I don't know why that is.
Which
Yeah.
one? What?
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I agree.
So did you have
That
to
was a
pee
good
or
point.
something,
Did you hear
Sean?
all that? What
Yeah.
Zeki said?
So-
That was really good. We should. I don't know. We'll incorporate that sometime. That's really good.
Yeah, it's definitely like both of them are very much emblematic of their time, but that middle one I think that's part of the reason it holds up so well.
Yeah.
All right, so Sean, were you peeing?
Yeah.
Good timing, right in the middle of the show. Jeez.
Sorry. So Brian talked about Ted, and then you were like, so, speaking of
Taken.
Taken 2, or something like that.
Yeah. So speaking of being taken with something, audiences were taken enough with Taken 2 that what I feared last time is now coming to pass. They are in fact doing a Taken 3.
Now, Zachy, you promised me that Liam Neeson wouldn't do a Taken 3.
Well, Liam Neeson promised us he wouldn't do a Taken 3, but clearly they're offering him enough money, I'm guessing, that he doesn't mind them kidnapping
He was
Maggie
taken
Grace.
with the idea all of a sudden.
Okay, that's it.
Hey, does anyone-
You're done, Brian.
Does anyone here do an impersonation of Liam Neeson?
I think Zachy does.
I'd kind of like to hear it. I want to hear him backpedaling about why he's going to do Taken 3.
I don't.
Mr. Neeson, you said in an interview you weren't going to do a third Taken movie.
Well, I have a particular set of skills that involves me doing these movies. So just sign the check, and I'll kill some Albanian people, and we'll call it a franchise.
And scene.
I have
What-
a particular set of skills. They call that the boner scene, because every guy watching that movie gets a boner when he hears
Yeah.
that monologue.
I did, actually. that scene was pretty awesome. I want to see Darkman 2. Remember Darkman?
Darkman 2, yeah, that's not a good movie, Darkman 2.
Wait a minute. You're right. That does exist, doesn't it?
Yeah,
There's I think there's one called Darkman 3, Die, Darkman, Die.
That's the third one, that's right. That stars, you know who's in those movies? That's it's not Liam Neeson, obviously.
Was it Jeff Fahey?
Well, Jeff Fahey's the bad guy, but the
Oh,
guy
he's
who
the bad
plays
guy.
Darkman is Arnold Vosloo
Oh, right.
from
The
the Mummy
Mummy.
movies. From the Mummy, yeah. I mean, he's basically, his face is all messed up and whatever, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah. That movie is very weird because I watched it recently, fairly recently. They showed it on HBO, the first Darkman. And it's very, very much a Sam Raimi movie. You can tell so clearly how, just the canted angles and the very weird,
Right.
and you can just draw a straight line from that to Spider-Man. Not saying it's a good movie, but it's. I remember liking it when I was a kid. I don't like it so much now.
Yeah, there was like these. I don't know what it was. Like I was big when we got our VCR when I was a kid. I was big on recording every movie that was on, and there was all these like NBC movies. Like I remember it was like they showed Darkman, and I remember they showed like The Hard Way. You remember that with Michael J. Fox and
Yeah,
James
yeah,
Woods?
yeah.
It's like these movies nobody really remembers or talks about, but like
Just
I
us.
watched them a million times because I had recorded them, and I don't know, I have a fondness for them.
Do you happen to remember in The Hard Way, for the swear "son of a bitch," they subbed it with "slug of a ditch."
It was Slug in a Ditch.
Slug in a ditch, yeah,
You slug in a ditch.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty clever.
Yeah, I remember the TV version of Snakes on a Plane.
Right.
Sam Jackson says,
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, what was that movie Die Hard, right? Where they say melon farmers,
Yep.
all
Is
these
it-
melon farmers, and
Yeah.
I think that was in Pineapple Express. Danny McBride in one scene in the unedited version calls someone a melon farmer. I was like, nice, Danny McBride.
"That's hilarious." Yeah, I remember seeing Scarface on TV, and I think I saw it on WGN in Chicago. And I don't even remember how the swear words were switched out, but they were hilariously awful.
Yeah.
From what I remember, I should look that up, see if I can find it. I'm sure somebody's put that on YouTube.
Oh, I'm positive. Yeah.
Badly censored overdubs of these of swear words. Yeah. So let's talk. Let's move on to trailer talk. We got some new trailers that we can discuss.
Trailer talk.
I hope that's not our new jingle, because
We're gonna need one. That's it for today.
for now that's a placeholder. We've got the new trailer for Jack Reacher, which is not a porno movie, as far as I know. I don't believe it
Formerly
is.
known as One Shot.
Which is also not a porno movie. Yeah, the book is One Shot Reacher.
Which is a porno book.
That is, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Coincidentally, yeah, it is.
So this is meant to be a new Tom Cruise franchise.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm assuming. I mean, it's a series of books, and there's like 8 or 9 of them.
Huh.
Did you guys see the trailer?
I did.
I did.
Here, well, let's play some of the audio here for the folks listening.
Helen?
No. Helen, are you hurt?
Do I have to tell you how this works?
Do you think I'm a hero? I am not a hero. Lawyer's all yours. On second thought, I'd like to kill you. They want me to run. Then I'm gonna finish this.
You're a little rusty, Mr. Reacher.
I have nothing to lose. And if you're smart, that scares you.
Okay,
Doesn't care.
so Tom Cruise plays a badass, basically,
Right.
who goes around beating people up. And I saw Rosamund Pike is in the trailer. She was in Die Another Day, which is the last Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie. And Werner Herzog is the villain.
Yeah. Nice.
Who are you doing that for?
Well, the joke was that first was for the attractive person, but
Okay. I was like, are we on a tape delay here? I feel like I should be more excited for this movie than I am.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like Tom Cruise action film 2012.
Yep.
He looks very short in this movie.
It's funny you say that. I thought the same thing. Like, normally they find a good way of just making him the action guy in all the Mission Impossible films and whatever, but he didn't feel like he was imposing as he was supposed to feel.
Which, I don't know, maybe that'll work to the movie's advantage.
I doubt it.
Wow, man. Brian is like Mr. Good Vibes normally.
No. I am positive this movie's going to be fun and cool because he makes fun and cool movies. But, like, it just felt, like I said, it just feels like he'll do this one, there'll be another one, I don't know what it'll be called, but then it'll be Tom Cruise action film 2013. You know what I mean? And, like, I felt the same thing about Mission Impossible, but I liked it. I like Mission Impossible 4. You know what I mean?
Mission Impossible 4, I gotta say, man, that was very, very good.
It was really good. I loved it.
I had
but
an
he's just
absolute
Tom
blast.
Cruise again.
Yeah, it's Tom Cruise being Tom Cruisey.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I guess
Which
I
is
guess
what we want, you know?
Yeah. Although I'll
is it what
say
we
Tom
want?
Cruise action film 2011, I think that was Night and Day, right?
Yeah.
Night and Day. I just saw it recently, and that was awful.
Yeah.
I just saw it like 2 weeks ago. It was unbelievably bad.
Yeah. Can I tell a funny story real quick about that?
Please
Because
do.
this is my only venue.
Please. Do.
So I don't know if this is like breaking any breach of whatever, but I was invited to be a part of a test focus group for the marketing of that film. And so I was in a room with about 15 people and a giant mirror.
Okay.
So anyway, they showed us the trailer, and a lot of people in the room were saying that they, were kind of cool on Tom Cruise now, and they weren't too into him, and they weren't responding to it. So anyway, they pulled out these movie posters, and they show us all these mock-ups of, like, they want to get a reaction. And the first one was this awful poster where it was Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz back-to-back, almost like a 70s cop show, where they're, like, smiling, and they got their guns raised, and it's like, ha, ha, ha. And everybody's like, ugh, no, that's terrible. And so then they showed another one. They're like, oh, we don't like Cameron Diaz. Oh, we don't like Tom Cruise. So eventually they pull out this poster, and it's just silhouettes. And everybody's like, yeah, because, we're not too big of fans of them, and this could maybe get us to see the movie. And I remember thinking, like, this is crazy. So anyway, cut to like a month later, and sure enough, that's the marketing they went with. There was all these, billboards and posters, and it was just silhouettes.
Which was
right.
awful.
I remember
for Night
that.
and Day. And I remember there being all these articles being, what in the world are they thinking?
That's
you got these two huge stars in this film, and they're not even putting their faces on the poster. And I remember thinking, I know exactly what they're thinking. I was
Wow.
there.
That's hilarious.
And say what you will, I think test audiences or focus groups can be valuable, but it's pretty interesting. I mean, they really listened to that group of 15 random people.
Wow.
So anyway, tangent.
What was
Finished.
Alf in the movie at one point?
I try as I might. I try to get him. I say that's what this movie.
You're like,
needs.
it's time.
It's time for Alf. And they're like, we're not buying that again, kid. Get out of here.
They drag you out. No, listen to me. You're shaking your fist.
Yeah, get out of here, you slug in a ditch.
Oh, very, very quickly. Very quickly, actually, I just want to double back to headlines real quick. This is one I forgot to mention. Just today, Warner Brothers has slotted the Justice League movie to summer 2015.
That's crazy. That's so far out, but that's awesome.
Well, here's the interesting thing: Warner Brothers has Justice League summer of 2015, and Disney has Avengers 2 summer of 2015.
Cool.
Ooh.
So this is. I mean, who knows if they actually make that date? But to me, I don't know. As a lifelong geek, the fact that we're in the realm now where we're like, oh yeah, and the Justice League movie is going to be here, and oh yeah, the second Avengers movie is. Yeah, I feel like my mind is being blown right now because it's so crazy to me,
Yeah.
Boner.
Now,
Boners.
it's,
Well, and just think about it this way too. Like those films are happening in the year 2015.
Right.
What?
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're in the future. I will
future.
go to the theater on my hoverboard.
Cute.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Seriously, if we don't have a hoverboard by 2015, I will consider existence a failure. Honestly.
No, my friend just this week on Facebook put a picture up of a hoverboard, and it was like one of those memes going around like 3 more years, scientists. Or
That's
something
right.
Like that. And I was just like, you know what? I know it's fun and games, and it's because it's from a movie I love, but I'm serious. There's a little part of me that really, really wants one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If
very
the
real part,
if the Mayans don't wipe us out by the end of this year, it'll be full steam ahead to the hoverboard.
Yeah, it's not childhood innocence that still exists. It's like very real, and it wants it.
I'm telling you, as long as the Mayans don't win, we'll be fine. Although to that point, again, this is how movies dictate my reality. If 2012 does end up being the apocalypse, what movies have taught me is when the end of the world happens, you find John Cusack, and you just stick to him. Because no matter what happens, he will get past it. He can drive over the earth as it's being swallowed up. He can fly over. Just basically anything that goes wrong, just stick to him.
We just got to figure out how we can get admitted into the giant arc then.
Yeah.
You remember that movie?
Yeah.
It ended with a giant arc.
That movie is messed up because it has like a pseudo happy ending, except for the fact that the whole world has ended.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, I worked at a studio when that script was going around.
Okay.
And that script was so top secret that we only had it for a matter of hours.
Wow.
And it was not only, sometimes when they want to make it so you can't copy a script, they'll print it on red pages because red doesn't show up on a photocopy very well. And this script was, I don't know what you'd call it. It was like coded, almost like 3D or something, where you actually had to read it with a device.
What?
That was like 3D glasses that you had to hold up to the script so you could actually see the.
Okay, look, 2012.
A lot of good
2012.
Now, you can say a lot about that movie, but the script was not the selling point.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's not written by David Mamet.
Spoil. Yeah. I just remember seeing that thing and being like, fascinating.
That's so bizarre. That's so weird to me. Yeah, the way Hollywood works sometimes, honestly. Another trailer that just hit this week, which is the new trailer for Django Unchained. And I had the exact opposite reaction to this as I did to the Jack Reacher trailer. This looks great.
They playing your ass for a fool.
I spent my whole life surrounded by black faces. I only had one question. Why don't they just rise up and kill the whites?
Who knows what could happen?
Y'all ain't gonna make it out alive.
In my world, you gotta get dirty. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting dirty.
What's your name?
Django. D-J-A-N-G-O. The D is silent.
Adult supervision is required.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm excited.
Looks very un-Tarantino-like.
I was about to say it. If you left Tarantino's name completely off that trailer, you would never know that he was involved.
You'd think it was a Coen Brothers movie or something.
Yeah. I was surprised to see Jonah Hill in there at the end there.
That took me out. That was the only thing that took me out of the trailer.
Yeah, and I'll say this though, I know a lot of people are not fans of his. People that I know, I'm talking about not in general, but I do actually like Jonah Hill a lot, and he is a selling point for me. For films. But yeah, he did take me out of the trailer too.
It was very odd because it felt like Jonah Hill of 2012. It didn't.
Yeah. I see.
It took me out of the time period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was distracting.
Looking back at the history of this movie, it's surprising that they had offered the role to Will Smith and he turned it down.
Right.
Yeah.
Because to me that shows that, to me anyway, I get the sense that Will Smith has lost a step a little bit. Where this is so obviously a credibility builder for him, but for whatever reason,
he seems like he has. I've heard this. I don't know where I heard this, but something about like when he was really starting to break into films from Fresh Prince and all that he had like a plan.
Yeah.
And it was like, these are the films that gross the most amount of money, supernatural or sci-fi or whatever. And he just stuck to that plan and he became who he is as a star. And so maybe he's just, he's not interested in something breaking out of that. Like he's got a formula and it works for him and he sticks to it. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, it's one of those things where you could easily picture Will Smith in this movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure Jamie Foxx is just fine in it. I mean, I like Jamie Foxx too. But yeah, what a cast!
I think Will Smith has that Tom Cruise factor going for him. It's hard to you watch a Will Smith movie and then you have those moments where you're like, "That's Will Smith." You know, sometimes it's difficult to see him as a character.
Yeah,
That's true.
So
Did you guys ever see Pursuit of Happiness?
I did.
I know people weren't, people found it schmaltzy and stuff.
Right.
But whatever. But I thought he was really good in that movie. I thought that was one of the few movies I've ever seen him sort of disappear.
He did. I was about to say he disappeared into that.
Yeah, he was really, really good in that movie.
Pretty well.
Good to know.
So it's capable. He's capable of it.
Well, I mean, he's done it, man. I mean, he's a good actor.
Oh, he's a great actor. I mean, I think I don't know, in a role like this, just because of the tone of what Tarantino movies usually are, I think Will Smith in that role would be kind of distracting.
I suppose. I mean, I can definitely see that point of view.
I think he's too big for that role.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, my feeling is always when you're a big star, you need to continue to challenge yourself. Otherwise, you kind of wind up in sort of a Harrison Ford pattern where, Harrison Ford, like we were talking about him last time, right? He never really had the opportunity to segue, to gently transition into character parts.
Right.
Because he kept doing crap like Firewall and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And he turned down Traffic and things like
Yeah.
that. And I think Michael Douglas ended up playing the role that he was originally going to play.
In Traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. So things like that. Where I mean, Will Smith currently is like the biggest star in the world, but let's be honest, that's not an open-ended tenure,
Yeah.
But moving on to the movie film Crapshoot, of course, we inaugurated it 2 weeks ago. We didn't do it last time because we had our special time travel episode. But the purpose of the movie film Crapshoot is to pick a movie that is not very good and shoot at it. And it's simple. So we find some crap and we shoot at it. And given that this is essentially our Halloween episode, I dug back into the files and looked for something that's vaguely Halloweenish, and I found a movie that you guys, I'm sure, have not seen, but I wanted to discuss with you anyway because it's so horrifically bad, and it is King Kong Lives from 1986.
86?
Yeah, 1986.
There was a 1986?
Like the year? Yes, there was a year.
No, that was the year Sean was frozen.
We actually skipped from 1985 to 1987.
What the?
It's like the 13th floor of a building,
Yeah.
In 1986, so this is actually a sequel to the 1976 King Kong remake.
That was one with Kurt Russell and Jessica Lange, right?
Not Kurt Russell, it was Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, yeah.
Jeff Bridges. And it was produced by an old friend of the show, Dino De Laurentiis. Yeah. But I'm going to say something out of character for me. I actually like the 1976 King Kong. And that's
you're allowed to say that.
Well, that's a point of view that is an extreme minority opinion, but I do have fond memories of that. I don't think it's a great movie by any stretch, but it's got solid performances. I think with a cast like that, you're gonna, and Charles Grodin is in there too, as the kind of the antagonist. It's got a pretty decent cast. It's got
a Beethoven fame. Beethoven fame. That's right. That's what he's known for. Beethoven. Thanks to
Beethoven fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to say Beethoven too. Like I used to read Peanuts comics when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Remember Schroeder? He was
yeah.
He was the Beethoven guy. So I'd be like, oh yeah, when are we going to listen to Beethoven in my music class? And then my teacher laughed at me, and it was kind of traumatic. But so King Kong comes out in late 1976, and it actually does pretty well. Well enough that 10 years later they do a sequel.
Yeah.
So 1986 they do the sequel, and it's one of those movies where it's hard to pinpoint all the things that are wrong with it, but the biggest thing wrong with it is that you would make a sequel to King Kong where you have King Kong still alive.
So how do they answer that with him dying?
So basically, King Kong. So in the 1976 film, he doesn't climb the New York the Empire State Building. He actually climbs the World Trade Center. Back when there was a World Trade Center, it was brand new back then.
Right.
Now, bear in mind, it was set in the 70s. It was a modern times remake.
Okay.
And actually, that movie has its own problems because what it does is it makes Jeff Bridges' character. He's kind of this like hippie, like environmentalist type. So he's basically like, we have to save Kong and send him back to where he's from, right? And so he calls the authorities, and they're like, okay, no, we're gonna send people to retrieve him, but they send like machine gun ships and they gun him down. Which, if you think about it, in 1976, let's say hypothetically, we have this gigantic ape who's one of a kind. There's not a chance in hell that they would just shoot it down. Right? I mean, it would just never happen. But anyway, so they shoot him down. So he falls off the Empire State Building, dies. That's the end of the story. That's the end of every King Kong story.
Right.
Right? But, according to King Kong Lives, as the title implies, 10 years later, after he falls off not the Empire State Building, sorry, the World Trade Center, he's in a coma for 10 years.
Oh, come on.
Where do you keep a giant monkey in a coma?
Oh, you keep him in a warehouse, in a monkey warehouse. And so they give him an artificial heart. He's actually given an artificial heart by Dr. Amy Franklin, who is played by Linda Hamilton.
A giant artificial heart.
Yes.
So this was after Terminator.
Exactly. This isn't I'm trying to pay the bills and pay my dues. This is post-Terminator celebrity star Linda Hamilton.
Wow.
Now this is a quote from her, which she told to Starlog magazine back in '86. So this is when the movie came out. She says, "I feel very good that I'm involved in a Kong movie because it's a legend, and there's no way it will ever not be a legend. Whether it fails or not, it's still a Kong film." Linda.
That sounds like the part they cut off from that quote was her at the end going, right? Right?
As she's looking around in desperation.
There's no microphone, Linda.
There's no one here. Basically, so they bring Kong back to life with his artificial heart, but he's still not out of the blue because he needs blood. So they scour Borneo and they find a giant Lady Kong.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. So they find Lady Kong, and King Kong and Lady Kong hook up, and Lady Kong gets pregnant.
Do they play The Lion Sleeps Tonight? When
So Lady Kong and King Kong escape. She's pregnant. I'm describing this.
She's with Kong?
She's with Kong, but then Kong. Oh, and then some military guy has it in for King Kong. He's like his Moby Dick,
right?
And Kong ends up dying again. He dies for real this time. And then Lady Kong gets away, but not actually. Yeah, see, not before Lady Kong gives birth, and Kong gets to see his son, Donkey Kong. I don't know.
yeah. Diddy Kong or something.
Diddy Kong, yeah. And then he dies, so he sees his son. And then she escapes, and we end on this happy, triumphant note. Where Lady Kong is out there and she's swinging around and happy I just this is one of those movies where you say not everything should be a franchise, right? Because there is literally one King Kong story.
Do the characters carry over from the 70s movie?
The only connection is that it starts with like the last few minutes of the 1970s one.
Okay.
But I mean, by this time Jessica Lange was a star. By this time Jeff Bridges was like, hell no.
But like they're so it's not the same characters. It's not other people playing those roles.
No, it's okay. The only character is the same as King Kong.
I gotta ask. I'm just gonna ask. Is there a love scene between?
Yeah, it's monkey love.
I'm looking it up on IMDb right now. So it says that there were actual actors in the monkey suits.
That's right. Well, in the 1976 one, it was Rick Baker
okay.
in the suit, and he designed some of the costume and stuff. Like
I'm
there
looking
was
at these stills are unbelievably bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. Well, here's the thing, and this just shows how the mentality, right? Dino De Laurentiis, I think he was just he was convinced that Kong is an action hero and not a monster. I mean, the poster literally says America's biggest hero is back, and he is not happy with the movie he's been put in. Yeah, this movie was directed by the way, by John Gillerman, who also did the '76 one. But it's just an example of how they keep going back to this well, because we've got 3 versions of the original King Kong story. We have the original, the '76 one, and then the Peter Jackson one, which we talked about a few weeks ago. The 17-hour miniseries version of King Kong that Peter Jackson did. Yeah. But not just that, they've done all of these attempts at sequels. But somehow King Kong Lives is really the dregs. It's one of those movies where it's so bad that you start wondering what the actors are thinking as they're making it.
Is there a trailer or something that we can play?
Yeah. You can actually find like the last 10 minutes of the movie on... Actually, I stand corrected. You can find the entire movie on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, if you go to YouTube and punch in King Kong Lives, all 1 hour and 40 minutes of it are on YouTube, the whole damn thing. I can play some of the trailer, though, so I'll pull that up here.
Now, easy, big guy. Hold on.
They're approximately 50 feet tall, wearing their birthday suits.
God, look at the size of him.
What is that?
It's like porn music. Yeah.
Did you say your beast is a female?
He was trying to get to the female.
America's biggest hero is back. And he is not happy. King Kong lives.
Now, the most walk of shame part of all this, you know who co-wrote the script for this? Is Ron Shusett. Yeah, so the guy who co-wrote Alien also came up with the idea for this. And you can't hear this, obviously, but it says at the end, America's biggest hero is back. It strobes that about 50 times in the trailer.
You know what that trailer's missing? Jane Lynch.
No, that was her in the suit. She's Lady Kong. She plays.
I'm gonna grab this monkey by the balls.
If he doesn't grab me by my balls first.
So that's this week's Crapshoot episode, and I have to assume some people are going to try to check that out on YouTube. And all I'm going to say is caveat emptor: just beware that it's not very good. But Halloween is coming up, and we do have other horrors to talk about, so we now move on to movies that matter. And we've actually gotten a few requests for this topic, so this times out very well, where I thought it would be fun to go back and talk about Halloween-centric movies, since Halloween is coming up soon. And Sean's birthday is coming up, too, by the way. Sean's birthday is Halloween.
Yeah.
So, movies for Sean's birthday, other than Prometheus. I guess to start things off, I'll ask you guys, what do you consider more effective, a gory movie or an unsettling movie?
Unsettling.
Define that for me. What do you consider an unsettling movie?
Well, I mean, I think it's scary. I think unsettling is scarier than gory.
Okay.
You know, I think it's the tension that builds, and I think it's what you don't see around the corner is what's really scary.
Yeah.
And the anticipation of what is it you're going to see around the corner.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or who's hiding behind, the shower curtain or whatever.
Yeah.
Rather than this bullhunky gore porn stuff that's out there now.
So you're not fans of the Human Centipede?
Oh my God, no.
I can't even believe that's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's amusing to me that's actually like a thing that like everybody's like, whether or not they've seen it, they're like, oh yeah, I know what a human centipede is.
Yeah, that's now part of the vernacular.
Yeah. It just bothers me that like somebody thought of that idea in their brain. They came up with that idea. They put it on paper. they shopped it around, and somebody else was like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to give you money to do this.
Somebody's like, all right, I'm just going to sign this check. You fill it in. Whatever you need.
Becky?
What's that?
Have you watched it?
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one, nor do I intend to.
Yeah.
But
is it like... I haven't seen it. Is it, like, amusing? Like, is it supposed to be sort of funny? Like, satire? Or is it like... I mean, what is it?
It's... I mean, if there's satire there, it went over my head.
Okay.
It's apparently the guy, the director, his name is Tom Six. He came up with the idea because he was like, this is what I would want to do to pedophiles is sew their mouth to somebody's ass. And then he was like, and what if somebody got sewn to their ass? And then we've got a movie,
so
everybody.
On and so forth.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. And I mean, I'm no doctor, but I have to assume that there's no way that biologically that would work. I don't think that if you sync up people's mouth and anus, that you have one long poop track.
Okay. All right.
I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, let's move on.
Well, yeah, I mean that, but they made a second one, and apparently now they have a third one, like to complete the trilogy.
Yeah, I read the synopsis or the description of when the script for the second one was leaked online.
That's right.
Like what happens in the first 10 pages or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is so unnecessarily disgusting for no reason.
Yeah, it's about a guy who is turned on by the first Human Centipede film, and so he masturbates to it.
Yeah, we shouldn't even talk about it. I don't want to give them any more of our time.
I'll say this though, it's funny because, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, when you talk about like the gore, or do you like the creepy or the whatever? It is funny. I mean, horror is such like a wide, definition. There's a big, broad definition for that. Because I'm looking at the films that I wrote down for this, and they're so not like any of those films. They're all of them aren't very gory, in fact.
But all that, like Hostel and Hills Have Eyes and all that kind of stuff, where it's just people, like innocent people getting tortured and families getting tortured and mutilated and stuff like that. Like that's just wrong. Like, why do you want to pay money to go see that stuff?
It's too much.
Out? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, doesn't work for me.
No.
Brian, what did you put on your list?
Well, the first movie I put, when you said unnerving, I think maybe it was Sean who said unnerving, The Shining.
Okay.
And I really, really love The Shining. And it was just on recently, and that's another one of those movies where if it's on, I'll kind of get into it. And, my introduction to The Shining was actually the movie Twister. And there's that scene where they're at the drive-in, and the Twister is tearing everything up. And there's this, The Shining was playing on the screen, but I didn't know what it was. And it had that scene with those two little twin girls.
Oh, scary.
And I didn't even know what it was. It's only on the screen for like 10 seconds, and I was like, that is horrifying. And so I found out what it was, and I ended up seeing it. And yeah, I don't know, something about this movie I really dig, because it taps into what I think people, whether they like gore, they like suspense or whatever, what they like about horror films is they like being scared. It's this kind of feeling that people really respond to, and you don't want to really be scared in real life, so you get to live through these things in these films. And The Shining, for me, it's what I like about it is it's just this. It's not a feeling of dread. It's just a feeling of discomfort. Mm-hmm. Almost the whole way through. And I mean, the score of the film is like this weird atonal orchestra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not even a score. It's just sort of like this swelling. Like the last 15 or 20 minutes of the movie is just this weird swelling of like orchestra that just gets more and more unnerving as like it gets more and more out of tune, and all these as everything's coming to a head. There's the famous moments in the film, obviously too, like the red rum and the all work and no play, where Shelley Duvall, not Shelley Duvall, right?
Yeah, Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, Shelley Duvall. She's
Olive oil.
Going through. Yeah, Olive Oil, where she's going through all the pages that, Jack Torrance has been writing for all this time, and all they say is all work and no play. But apart from those moments, which are obviously great, I mean, there's the smaller moments in the movie, like these really long tracking shots through the hallways that just kind of throw you off, and these really long moments where they'll just sort of focus on Danny, the little boy, just like staring off into space.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, and then that moment when everything's coming to a head at the end, where the butler, is in the room with that guy in the dog suit.
Yeah.
You remember that? And it's just in there for like 5 seconds, and you're like, ah! It's like nightmare fuel. You know what I mean? But it's like the most subtle of nightmare fuel. And I don't know. That movie really...
Brian, did you ever see the remake that they did for TV?
Yeah, it was Steven
You know
Weber.
what? I haven't, and I've heard that it's good because it's more in tune with the book.
Yeah.
It's very different. You know, I think, I mean, there's no way to replicate what Jack Nicholson does. Obviously, there's just no way. So Steven Weber, who stars in the TV movie, he's, you know, people would know him from Wings, obviously. He's more sympathetic and kind of scary in a different way. I wouldn't say more scary or less scary, just scary in a different way.
I thought he did a really great job.
Yeah. I mean, he did... I mean, it's a thankless job.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, who wants to follow up on Here's Johnny, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I agree. A lot of The Shining's scare factor has dulled a little bit because so many people are familiar with it, even people who haven't seen it.
Yeah, but I'll say I think why I put it down and why I still like it, though, is it's still a movie as I get older and I look at movies more technically even somehow. Like, it still makes me uncomfortable. You know, just the score and the cinematography, and like it still creates a mood that can make me uncomfortable, and I really dig that.
Great Simpsons parody too.
Yeah. The Shinning?
The Shinning.
The Shinning.
No TV and no beer make Homer something.
Go crazy.
Don't mind if I do.
So, Brian, what else you got on your list?
The second film I put was The Ring.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
interesting.
I think a lot of times, you know, we talk about modern horror films. Maybe this is our age, you know what I mean? Where we're just like, oh, they don't scare like they used to, or they got these cheesy effects, and, you know, I don't know, they don't live up to what used to scare us when we were kids. Like, this is a modern horror film that I remember being really scared while I was watching this. I saw this actually in the theater. Was one of my first weeks starting at a new school. I was in college because I transferred, and I went with a bunch of people that I didn't know. And I remember we sat, and again with these kids I just met, and we were freaking out and grabbing each other's arms. I sat next to this girl. We were like all yelling. It was just such a really fun, truly scary experience. And then I saw it again on DVD, and I was thinking like, oh, I don't know if it'll hold up the same way. That was just sort of one of those unique viewing experiences. But I was like watching it by myself, and I was like, this movie is really unnerving. I mean, that video, that, you know, the minute and a half or whatever it is of odd footage, like it doesn't feel like some sort of, oh, and then some CG centipede crawls across the screen. Like, it feels really like you've stumbled onto something you should not be watching.
Yeah, watching it by yourself was the first mistake.
Yeah. And again, going with score, you know, talking about the way with The Shining, I mean, Hans Zimmer did the score for that. And I don't know, it doesn't remind me of anything else he's done. It's sort of almost like a straight orchestral thing, but it's also a little out of tune and a little intense. You know, I don't know. Something about it really supports the film in a really great way.
It says a lot because you're a bit of a Hans hater.
You know, I wouldn't say a Hans hater, but I'm just... I don't like listening to his scores apart from the films as like I do with other people.
Right.
And but this one, I feel like maybe it's the Pirates thing. Maybe that really put me off, just because I thought that was such like a. I know it works for a lot of people. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it didn't really work for me. It just felt like a very generic sort of whatever. But anyway, with The Ring, like it's a very, I don't know, specified and really effective score, I think.
Did you like the sequels, Brian?
I saw there's the second one, right? I think there's only the second one.
There's two, right?
There's two.
I only remember The Ring 2, which I did see, and it did not work for me. It felt like
Ring 2 was awful.
Yeah, it felt like they just tried to recreate the scares of the first one. So they're like, okay, you know, there was like a horse that freaked out in the first one, so we need an animal freaking out in the second one. This is the animal freak out scene.
Which they looked really silly too. The elk or the deer or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, no. No. But yeah.
Now is The Ring, is that kind of where Naomi Watts became a star, or was she
that or
already
Mulholland Drive?
Oh, that's right. So Mulholland Drive kind of put her on the map, and then The Ring was kind of her solo,
maybe her breakout.
Yeah, her first like leading role.
No, but she's not in the sequel.
Yeah, she's in Ring 2, right?
Oh, she is.
She is in the sequel. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I just remember, and it has like a creepy boy, which has become sort of a trope. But like, I remember he was pretty good. And
right.
There's that moment at the end, where you think everything's resolved. Spoilers for The Ring. But where you think everything's resolved, and she's like talking to the boy in bed, like, oh, okay, we can relax now, we can sleep. And he's saying, we helped her, so everything's okay. And then remember that boy sits up, and he's like, you helped her? And then his nose starts bleeding. You're like, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, man, it's great.
Have you seen the original one?
No, I imagine it would be really scary.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something about, the J-horror stuff is really creepy stuff.
Interesting. What was your third movie, Brian?
My third movie was Poltergeist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which I just read that they're doing a prequel to.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I think I might have had it on the brain because of that even.
Oh,
but,
okay.
I read somewhere, I wish I could credit them because I don't remember who said it, but I read on a site where they said that might have been the last wholesome horror film.
That's true.
And I was like,
it's very true.
I was like, yeah, it's very true. And that's what I think I like about it, is it's very... if you look at it on the surface, it's a really scary story. But at the same time, there's something, Spielberg, obviously produced it and, arguably directed it, depending on who you asked. But what I like about it, and what I like about all of Spielberg's films, is that they take place in the suburbs. And that's where I grew up. And what he does is he takes a place that is very familiar to you and also supposedly supposed to be very safe, and then he adds a fantastical element. And with E.T., it was, what if an alien landed in your backyard?
Yeah.
And in Close Encounters, similar with an alien, but like, what if, you have a family and you live in this suburban neighborhood, but an alien, a spaceship flies over your house? And with Poltergeist, it was like, what if a ghost not just haunts a house and then handsome people and good-looking, attractive girls, topless girls run out of the house. It's like, no. What if a ghost was literally in your house, in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I enjoy about the film, because it's not all scary. Like, some of it is comfortable because it's a setting you're familiar with. But then there are moments of horror where it's like, no, what it builds to toward the end is like, no, this is a really awful thing that you do not want in your house.
Right.
And so there are moments of awe and wonder. Like, I think the moment I remember most from that film, from when I was little, was that moment where they're all sort of falling asleep in the living room, and then those spirits start coming down the staircase.
Yeah. Oh.
And just because I was writing that down as one of my most memorable scenes, I wanted to check it out. So I looked it up on YouTube again just to sort of rewatch it. And it's so cool. I mean, it's like, it's like the cameras start moving on their own, and then they focus on the staircase, and everyone's sort of watching it, and these awesome practical effects, start coming down, the stairs. And, well, I say practical, you know what I mean, where it's like, it was actually like a puppet that it wasn't created in a computer. But like, and then they rewatch it, and you can just barely make out that it's like these old, people from a different era wearing like these fedoras, and like, there's something sort of like magical about it. But then by the end of the film, it becomes something horrifying that they need to get out. They need to get out of the house. And I don't know. I'm a fan.
There's also obviously the element of tragedy in that film with Dominique Dunne as the older daughter,
right?
And I don't know if you guys are aware how she was actually strangled to death before the movie came out. After it was filmed, but before it came out, I believe.
No, yeah, there's a lot of sort of weird elements tied to they try to tie to that cast in that film, and
like the curse of Poltergeist.
The curse, that's the word I was looking for, yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can go to Snopes and they'll have all the various deaths of people.
Yeah.
With Poltergeist, I've been, sort of as my background music at work, I've been watching Coach reruns with Craig T.
Coach? Okay.
Which has nothing to do with my opinion on Poltergeist. I just wanted to mention it. The first time I ever saw that movie, I was in Germany, and it was on TV, and... seeing this movie for the first time in a language that I didn't quite understand, like, it scared the hell out of me because I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
It's like, these kids outside and they fall into like the the big hole in their backyard, and there's, you know, things crawling out of the ground trying to get them, and the girls' toys are coming to life, and it was so intense and so weird and so scary, and I couldn't understand any of the words, and I'm just like, what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, I wanted to say, too, I wrote down, you know, when I said about The Shining, how, you know, there's the iconic moments, but for some reason it's like the smaller moments that really sort of get to me. I feel the same way about this one. I mean, there are those moments like the moment with the tree, where the tree comes alive and takes the boy out of the room, and also the moment with the clown, you know, where it's in the chair. And those are scary moments, but for me, it's sort of the moment, you know, where what's that woman's name? Zelda Rubinstein? The woman who plays the
old lady?
Yeah, the old lady. You know, just that moment where she's, you know, talking to the girl and, you know, telling her to stay away from the light. And it's like you're not even seeing what's going on. You're just hearing her telling this girl what to do and how bad her situation is. And those moments are so intense.
What about Poltergeist 2?
I saw that just because I hadn't seen it, and I liked the first one, so I was just curious. And I don't remember much about it other than that creepy guy. The creepy guy who comes to their door.
Right.
And I wish I hadn't thought about it now, actually.
Well, and they made a third one, too, in 88.
That was the one with Tom Skerritt, right?
They live in a high-rise or something?
The third one has Tom Skerritt, and Nancy Allen.
Yeah,
and,
wasn't there some tragedy in that movie, too?
Yeah, Heather O'Rourke.
That it was released? Oh.
Heather O'Rourke, she died.
Yeah.
The little girl, right.
Yeah, she had, I think that they said she had Crohn's disease, but it turned out to be something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird how that works. I to be honest, I don't see what you can do to make an interesting prequel.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm kind of on
is
an
it a
anti-prequel.
prequel or a remake?
They're saying prequel.
A prequel? Oh.
Yeah.
Why? Well, what's the prequel going to be? The construction workers building the house?
I guess. I mean,
over the But
it'll have Numi Rapace as somebody trying to figure out whether ghosts exist. And...
We were so wrong to build this house.
Hey, dude, put money down. That's probably exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, but I'll just one last thing I'll say about it is just that I made it. I guess you can kind of figure out how I feel. What I'm drawing to with the horror genre is more. I sort of like the fantastical, creepy, whatever, and I like the that moment too. That it's about like a family, you know, like going through something, and you're really with these people and rooting for them to get out. And unlike, you know, other films where you're rooting, like, how's this guy going to die?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I want these people to get out of the scenario. And
Sean, what were some of your picks?
The first one I thought of was The Frighteners.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Jackson directed, starring Michael J. Fox. First of all, it's one of those movies that seems to be very much an under-the-radar movie when discussing scary movies in general. It's also a movie that, like, you kind of forget how good of an actor Michael J. Fox is.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about that movie, like obviously the way that it looks and the way that it's shot is amazing, but something about the idea of trying to outsmart death and like the Grim Reaper as an actual character that like only this one guy can see. Just a really cool concept, a really cool story about how he helps people with their ghost problems, and everybody thinks he's a con artist, but he really can see what's going on, and he's got this whole tragic backstory about like how his wife was killed. And
yeah, you know, the Frighteners to me, I wouldn't say it's particularly scary, but I did find it very engaging.
Yeah.
And it's kind of notable because it's the last movie that Michael J. Fox headlined.
Oh, interesting.
It's the last time it's the last live action movie where he was the star. That was 96, right? That it came out.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't starred in a movie since then, you know.
The other one I was thinking of, which I think sort of it never really gets lumped into the category of scary movies, but Signs.
Sure.
Shyamalan's Signs. I remember seeing that with you, Zachy. We saw that early screening.
We saw an early screening in Chicago, that's right, in downtown.
And that movie has some really, really great scary moments.
That has some great jump moments.
Yeah. And again, it's a lot of stuff that you don't see is what is scary. When he's in the little girl's room, and then she's like, you know, there's a monster outside my window or whatever.
Right.
And you look out, and it's just like the way that it's lit and the way that it's shot, and then they run out. And it's like it's almost like the alien's point of view on top of the rooftop.
That's right.
As they're running around the house trying to get a look at it. And
Well,
the whole time you're like, oh, I want to see it. No, I don't want to see it.
Forget that. When they're watching that video.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you didn't crap your pants the first time you saw that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and you know that film gets lumped in a little bit with all the crap that Shyamalan has done since.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic movie. A lot of people break bad on it because.
Well, I think it's unfortunate because I think that Sixth Sense gets a pass. I think Unbreakable gets a pass to an extent, but I think that Signs sort of gets thrown in with The Village and
I remember
Shyamalan has done since.
When we saw Signs, I think one of the moments that really stood out to me is when he's in the kitchen. You know, he meets Shyamalan out in the on the driveway,
that's right,
and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I locked one in my pantry."
That's right.
So he goes in the guy's house, and all you see is the shadow on the floor walking back and forth.
That's right.
And then when he says like "hello," the thing stops.
Yeah,
like something so so creepy about that. It's great.
Well, I mean, you realize that Shyamalan really has the potential to be just a master of tone and mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to figure where that guy went wrong, you know?
Yeah. Fantastic score in that movie, too. James Newton
Howard. James Newton Howard, yeah. And what else, Sean?
I was going to say The Ring, so we already covered that.
Yeah, well, when we were talking about horror movies, this was kind of a tough question for me because I'm just not a big fan of horror movies as a rule.
Right.
So it took a little bit of digging, and you know, for me, and you guys know this, I'm a big fan of the classic monsters, which aren't really scary anymore because they've become lovable and huggable. You know, but to me, that original coterie of black and white Universal movies from the 30s through the 50s, where we had the original Dracula, we had Bela Lugosi as Dracula, we had Boris Karloff's version of the Frankenstein monster, we had Lon Chaney as the Wolfman. Boris Karloff was the Mummy. I find those movies, to me, they still hold up because they give us creatures that are sympathetic in their own way. Not necessarily Dracula, but the Frankenstein monster, the Wolfman. You know, to me, it's really unfortunate that the remake of the Wolfman, which just came out a few years ago, that was that was the one Joe Johnston kind of did triage on, where he jumped in at the last minute to direct it. It missed so much about what makes that character work and what made that original film work. And every time they try to bring it back, it's no patch on those originals. You know, Sean, you and I went to see Van Helsing almost 10 years ago. It's hard to believe that was almost 10 years ago.
All I remember is the woman sitting next to us was crying.
There was a woman in front of us who cried at the end, where it's a quote-unquote sad ending.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, that movie was like a bowling ball that just knocked down everybody in it. Because Kate Beckinsale isn't good in it, Hugh Jackman isn't good in it.
It's just awful.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie, and that was an attempt to really restart that franchise with those characters, but it just missed it, man. Because there's a purity to the original depictions of those characters. I mean, I still, you know, Bride of Frankenstein, I still watch it. I'll watch it every couple of years. You know, The Wolfman, I think is still just a great flick. It's this sad story about this poor tragic character, you know, Larry Talbot that Lon Chaney Jr. plays. So I'm a big fan of those movies. And then the other thing I think about when I think of horror movies that I enjoy watching, and it's the George Romero Dead movies.
Right.
Dawn of the Dead, the 1970s Dawn of the Dead is again, it's one of those movies that I've watched a couple times, and I'm not somebody who generally likes horror, but I like psychological horror. Mm-hmm. And I think zombie movies are at their most effective when they don't necessarily focus on the gore and the viscera, but they do focus on, or they highlight that psychological aspect. What do you do in this world?
Right.
And there's something about the original Dawn of the Dead. And by the way, the remake I think is still pretty good. I do think that the remake Dawn of the Dead is one of those rare instances where it's still worth watching. But the way they play it in the Romero version, you know, the idea, just the absolute isolation as you're locked in this mall and you're kind of living this life as hell is happening outside. I mean, it's essentially Mask of the Red Death, where you've got this plague spreading outside, but here we are in our little sheltered, cloistered world where we know that reality is going to come barging in at some point. And there's a great line in that movie, right? Which is it's the same line that it's said by the same actor in both the original and the remake, where Ken Foray, he says, "When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth." And I actually did an essay about that for Geek Wisdom, which is the book that I co-wrote, which came out last year. There's a plug for that. But those Dead movies, man, I even a mediocre one is still pretty good. And I think that's why I love The Walking Dead so much, because that whole TV series, that whole comic book and TV series is just an homage to everything George Romero did with those movies. So those are kind of my horror picks. But I know, Sean, you've got some questions prepared for us.
Yeah.
Is it trivia time?
It is trivia time. Let's see. How about your avatars for this week? What do you think? Should they be presidents? Presidents not named Washington, Jefferson, Adams, or Lincoln?
Okay.
All right. I'll be Grover Cleveland.
Oh, damn it. I'll be Andrew Garfield. Wait. James Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Spider-Man?
He's a president. You didn't know?
Okay. Question number 1.
Yes.
In the movie The Frighteners, who composed the score?
Grover Cleveland.
Go ahead.
Is it Danny Elfman?
It is Danny Elfman.
Oh,
nice.
I didn't know that.
Okay, one for Brian. In the film Scream 2, question number 2. In the film Scream 2, what good-looking couple became the slasher's first victims in the pre-title sequence?
Garfield.
Go ahead.
It was Omar Epps and Jada Pinkett.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Nice. This is in a movie theater, right?
Yeah. Question number 3. Which single starlet makes a cameo in Sam Raimi's Army of Darkness?
Grover Cleveland.
Yeah.
Bridget Fonda?
That's correct.
Boom.
That's right. She's the girlfriend, right, in the beginning?
Yeah. She's married to Danny Elfman.
Right.
She is married to him?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Which, I guess by marriage makes her Jenna Elfman's aunt.
That's right, yeah.
That's weird.
Weird. That is weird, yeah.
A little fun fact about Army of Darkness. The original script for that movie was only 43 pages long.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
So you wonder how much of that was just Bruce Campbell, chewing the scenery.
Riffing.
Yeah, just riffing. Okay, so it's 2-1, right?
That's right.
2 for Brian. Yep. Okay, question number 4. Mel Gibson's role in Signs was originally offered to 2 different, slightly more leathery Hollywood heavyweights. Name one of the 2.
Slightly more leathery.
Name one of the 2.
George Hamilton?
You gotta buzz in first.
Oh. I have no idea. Yeah.
I'll at least guess. Grover Cleveland.
Go ahead.
Robert Redford?
No, but you're on the right track.
Mel
Gibson's role was offered to 2 other guys.
Grover
about...
Cleveland. Can I go again?
Yeah, unless Zachy buzzes in.
Michael Douglas?
No, you're thinking. Yeah, you're on the right track though. You're thinking the right kind of actors.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, wait. I gotta guess one more.
Leathery.
Mm-hmm. I'll just say they're old. Just think of somebody old.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman.
Somebody's got to buzz in with their name.
Grover Cleveland. Paul Newman.
Paul Newman is correct. Yeah.
Really? That's like too old though.
Paul Newman and Clint Eastwood were both offered the role.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Okay, question number 5. This Corey Feldman classic is one of 2 films highly credited for influencing the PG-13 rating system.
Garfield.
Oh, Grover Cleveland.
Go ahead, Zachy.
Lost Boys.
No.
Oh, Grover Cleveland.
Go ahead.
Gremlins.
Gremlins is correct.
Corey Feldman is in Gremlins?
Yeah, he's Billy's friend.
Oh, that's right. Oh, man.
And, Zachy, you may know this.
Yes.
Do you know who was responsible for, basically responsible for getting Howie Mandel the job as Gizmo? Another great voice actor.
Frank Welker? I don't know.
Yeah, Frank Welker.
It was Frank Welker? Oh, okay. Nice.
And Spielberg was originally considering Tim Burton to direct it, but
Well, I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't have any feature experience, and Spielberg really loved The Howling, so he gave it to Joe Dante.
Well, that was a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sad he isn't really doing movies anymore, Joe Dante.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's for lack of wanting to do movies. I think it's just.
Well, he does have a movie that came out here just this month.
Oh, really?
It was called The Hole.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It was sort of like I think a PG-ish, probably PG-13 now, but sort of old school 80s thing, I think, about like these kids that find like a hole in their basement that could possibly lead to hell or something.
Right.
But it's sort of like a fun, scary.
It sounds like the sequel to Jack Reacher. But anyway,
you know what I'll say? I'll say one more thing. Now that you brought it back to Jack Reacher, because I felt like all we did was say like it just looked okay, but the last 20 seconds of that trailer were awesome.
Yeah.
The part where he gets out of the car and he steps up on the curb.
That's right.
And everyone stands around him and he puts the hat on.
The guy
that
gives
was
him the hat, yeah.
Yeah. that was that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, Sean, is that all 5 questions?
Yeah. Brian is 2 weeks in a row. Brian wins.
Woo! So I got 1 out of 4?
Yeah. You got Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps.
Oh, there we go. Okay, well, that pretty much brings us to the end of our time together. So just very quickly, let me reiterate that we've redesigned the Mr. Boy Productions website. That's mrboyproductions.com. Check it out. You can find all the podcasts there. You can find links to all our sites and everything else there. And send us a word. You can write to us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your hopes, your dreams for what you want us to talk about on this show. Brian, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me at my blog, which is everythingbrian.blogspot.com.
And Sean?
Moosehub.com.
And, of course, you can find me at my blog, Zackie'sCorner.com. I also have posts that appear semi-frequently at HuffingtonPost.com. For my colleagues, Sean Coyle and Brian Hall, my name is Zackie Hassan. This is the Movie Film Podcast. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zackie, Sean, and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
As long as we're not going to broadcast any of this.
Yes.
I have got to scratch my balls, doo-dah, doo-dah, scratch all day long, all the doo-dah day.